Hello and welcome to Rolltale. Here on Rolltale, you can find me every Tuesday DMing Tales of Yield Interest, my D&D 5e campaign, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to check it out either here or on Twitch, also at Rolltale. So today we're reviewing RPG Stories, specifically their early access backer build for the world building tools. So, to tell you a little bit about RPG Stories is an upcoming 3D virtual tabletop that released an alpha build test for the building tools last September. It was a lot of fun. I do have a video going over RPG Stories a little bit, which you can find on my channel. I did feature them in my map builder comparison video, so be sure to check that out. This is their world building tool that just released today, just to backers and VIP backers and those that pre-ordered before a certain point. I don't think that you can get early access to this right now, unless you were already a backer. But anyhow, let's get to the review. First, I want to start out with let's do the pros first. Compared to the alpha building test, it is much easier to use. I don't know if maybe they just worked with making it feel a lot more polished, but overall I enjoyed using it a lot more versus the earlier build. This is like the first time I got my hands on it in 3 months. So it really does say a lot what I was able to do with it being so long ago since my last experience. Scaling objects to the correct size is very easy. This was possible to do in the previous version, but it was a little bit harder to make things look right. And now you're able to change the widths and the heights, and you're able to work with an object in 3 dimensions, like scaling it, which I really, really liked. It made making the right objects fit so much easier. Another thing is the lighting just looks pretty decent. I do think it is a little shiny on some parts, like certain things are really glossy, really shiny, but it's not really a deal breaker to me, especially because you can change the lighting in RPG Stories pretty easily. Let's see. All the objects look nice. Like, they took their time. It kind of reminds me a little bit of how the objects look in Fallout 4, if that makes any sense. Which, I love Fallout 4, and I think everything looks really good in Fallout 4, so I like the aesthetic of how everything looks. It all works well. Let's see. It runs super light. Like, it feels like this would be a kind of complicated thing to run on a computer, but I only have a 1050 Ti on my system, which is a very out-of-date graphics card, and it runs super well. It doesn't even feel like it's running on my computer. I could do anything else, and RPG Stories is not going to slow down my computer. I could have this open probably 4 times before I notice an impact in performance. And also, decorating is very fun. You can actually see me decorating here quite a bit. I finished the map, like the basics of the map, what I needed in about 35 minutes, and then I spent about another 30 minutes just decorating, making everything look nice. Yeah, those are my main pros. Like, there's a lot to like about RPG Stories at this very, very early stage, and I believe it's only going to get better from here. I do have a couple things I'm neutral on. As I said, one of them is that this is an early access build for the backers, which means that you are not able to get a hold of it right now yourself. You're going to have to wait for the early access release, the official early access release on Steam, or wherever else they're going to release it. I'll leave a link in my description about for the website in case you want to know anything more. They have a really active Discord too, so be sure to find that too. I believe that's on the website. Be sure to join that. It's a pretty small dev team. I don't know how many people are there, but it doesn't feel like it can be more than a dozen. Otherwise, God, there must be a lot of people working in the background that aren't on Discord. I feel like I've talked to everyone on Discord, but I could be wrong on that. There could be a lot of people working on it that I just don't know. I just know like 4 people who are on Discord all the time, but they all seem very passionate about what they do. I do want to go over a couple of the cons. There's not many, and these are all kind of minor feeling. The grid size is not the standard 5x5 that you find in like most other map makers, which just means every grid is 5 feet by 5 feet. And on this, it feels like they're about 7 by 7. So if you can just, in your head, figure that every grid is about 1.5 times the size of your standard grid, you're able to come pretty close to recreating most of the maps that you're going to want to recreate. If you're making your own maps by scratch, it's not really going to be an issue, but I was recreating a map from the Game Master's Book of Random Encounters by Jeff Ashworth, so that's the only reason I had like any issue. The wall tool also does not allow you to mix and match your wall textures, which I thought was kind of weird, but that might get corrected eventually anyway, so I'm not going to hold it too far against them right now. The wall tool, I know they've gone through a lot to make it work the way it does at this point. So if that takes a minute, that's fine. And also, a couple objects were missing from the alpha test. Not a huge deal, I just like the prop buildings. I thought it would have been cool to have prop buildings all around. Maybe they come back, maybe they won't. We'll see. But really, that's my quick review of RPG Stories, the early access, day 1 early access for the backers. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in a future video. Until then, have a good night.